Trouble in Ithaca. The story begins not with Odysseus, but with his son. In the palace of Ithaca, young Telemachus watches helplessly as arrogant suitors feast in his father's halls. They drink his father's wine, eat his father's cattle, and pressure Queen Penelope to choose a new husband. Everyone believes the great warrior Odysseus died long ago after the Trojan War, but the gods know the truth. On Mount Olympus, the goddess Athena speaks in Odysseus's favor. She reminds the gods that the clever king is still alive, trapped on a distant island. Zeus agrees that it is time for his journey home to begin. Athena travels to Ithaca, disguised as a traveler, and meets Telemachus. She fills the young prince with courage and urges him to search for news of his father. For the first time in years, hope returns to the palace. Telemachus secretly prepares a ship and sails away to learn the truth about Odysseus. The long story of the hero's return has begun. The search for a father. Telemachus sails first to the kingdom of Nestor, an old hero of the Trojan War. The wise king tells him stories of the war and praises Odysseus as the cleverest of all the Greek leaders. Yet he knows little about the hero's fate. Nestor sends Telemachus onward to Sparta, where King Menelaus lives with his wife Helen. There, the young prince hears the first real news of his father. Menelaus reveals that a sea god once told him Odysseus is still alive, but trapped on a distant island, unable to return home. Telemachus feels both relief and pain. His father lives, but he is suffering. Meanwhile, back in Ithaca, the suitors discover that Telemachus has left the island. Furious, they plan to ambush him on his return and kill him before he can threaten their power. Far away across the sea, Odysseus still struggles to escape his own prison. The prison of Calypso. Odysseus is stranded on the island of Ogygia, held by the beautiful nymph Calypso. She loves him deeply and offers him immortality if he will stay with her forever. But Odysseus longs only for home, for his wife, his son, and his kingdom. After 7 long years, the gods finally intervene. Zeus sends Hermes to command Calypso to release the hero. Though she is heartbroken, Calypso obeys. She helps Odysseus build a raft and sends him sailing across the sea. For 17 days, the voyage goes smoothly. Ithaca almost feels within reach. But the sea god Poseidon still hates Odysseus for blinding his son, the Cyclops Polyphemus. When Poseidon sees the hero sailing free, he summons a massive storm. Waves smash the raft to pieces and Odysseus barely survives. After days battling the ocean, he washes ashore on the island of the Phaeacians, where his fate will finally begin to change. The story begins. The Phaeacians welcome the exhausted stranger into their palace. Their king, Alcinous, promises to help him return home if he reveals who he is. At a great feast, a blind bard sings about the Trojan War. The stranger begins to weep, and the king realizes this must be no ordinary traveler. At last the man speaks. "I am Odysseus," he says. Then he begins telling the incredible story of his journey since leaving Troy. He describes how curiosity led him into the cave of the Cyclops Polyphemus, a one-eyed giant who trapped his men and began eating them. Using clever trickery, Odysseus blinded the monster and escaped. But as his ships sailed away, Odysseus foolishly revealed his name. The Cyclops prayed to his father Poseidon for revenge. From that moment on, the sea itself became the hero's enemy. Curses of the sea. Odysseus's troubles continued across the ocean. The Wind King Aeolus once gave him a magical bag holding every wild wind, leaving only the gentle breeze that would carry him home. But while Odysseus slept, His curious sailors opened the bag, thinking it held treasure. A violent storm burst free and blew them far away again. Desperate for answers, Odysseus even traveled to the land of the dead to speak with the spirit of the prophet Tiresias. The ghost warned him that the anger of the gods would follow him all the way to Ithaca. Soon afterward, he faced terrible sea monsters. He sailed past the deadly sirens whose beautiful songs lured sailors to their deaths. Then he steered between two horrors, the whirlpool Charybdis and the six-headed monster Scylla. 6 of his men were devoured before the ship escaped. The journey grew darker with every mile. The final disaster. Tiresias had given Odysseus one clear warning: never harm the sacred cattle of the sun god. But after weeks trapped by storms on a lonely island, Odysseus's starving crew ignored the warning. While he slept, they slaughtered the shining cattle for food. The sun god demanded punishment from Zeus. When the ship finally returned to sea, Zeus struck it with a thunderbolt. The vessel shattered instantly. Every sailor died. Only Odysseus survived. For 9 days he drifted across the ocean until he reached Calypso's island. This happened to be where the Phaeacians resided. Odysseus remained trapped for 7 years. He told stories such as Cyclops Polyphemus, a giant who devoured his men. With clever deception, he blinded the monster and escaped. The island of the enchantress Circe, who turned his crew into swine until Odysseus forced her to restore them. The deadly sirens whose songs lure sailors to ruin, and steered between the monsters Scylla and Charybdis, losing 6 men to the beast, and the slaughter of the sacred cattle of the sun god, and Zeus destroying their ship with a thunderbolt. After hearing Odysseus's many stories, the Phaeacians feel deep pity for the wandering hero, before the gods finally freed him and they promised to take him home at last. The beggar in his own palace. While Odysseus sleeps aboard their magical ship, the Phaeacians sail him safely to Ithaca. Athena disguises him as an old beggar so he can enter his kingdom unnoticed. First he visits the loyal swineherd Eumaeus, who still mourns his lost king. Soon after, Telemachus secretly returns from his journey abroad. When father and son finally meet, Odysseus reveals his true identity. Together they begin to plan. The suitors who have taken over the palace must be punished, but only with careful strategy. Disguised as a beggar, Odysseus enters his own hall. The suitors insult him, throw food at him, and laugh at his ragged clothes. Only his faithful dog Argos recognizes him before dying peacefully at his master's return. The king watches silently, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The challenge of the bow. Queen Penelope has remained faithful to her missing husband for 20 years. Yet the pressure from the suitors grows stronger every day. Finally, she announces a contest. Whoever can string Odysseus's mighty bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads will win her hand in marriage. One by one, the suitors attempt the challenge. None of them can even bend the bow. Then the ragged beggar asks for a chance. Despite their protests, Penelope allows it. Odysseus lifts the bow easily. With calm strength, he strings it in a single motion. The arrow flies straight through every axe. In that instant, the beggar stands tall. The true king of Ithaca has returned. The reckoning. Odysseus turns toward the suitors. His first arrow strikes their cruel leader, Antinous, killing him instantly. The cup falls from the man's hand as he collapses, and panic erupts across the hall. The suitors shout in confusion, thinking it must be an accident. But Odysseus stands tall with the bow in his hands. "I am Odysseus, king of Ithaca," he declares. "You have devoured my house, dishonored my servants, and tormented my family. Now you will pay for it." The doors are sealed. Telemachus rushes to his father's side, armed and ready. Loyal servants quickly bring spears, shields, and armor. The suitors scramble desperately for weapons, but they are too late. The battle erupts in the great hall. Arrows whistle through the air as Odysseus fires again and again with deadly precision. The suitors charge in fear and anger, but the king fights with the strength of a warrior who has survived storms, monsters, and 20 years of hardship. Spears clash, men fall. The palace echoes with the sounds of battle. One by one, the suitors collapse onto the stone floor. Years of greed, arrogance, and betrayal end in a single night of justice. The long journey ends. Even now, Penelope struggles to believe the stranger before her is truly her husband. 20 years of grief have taught her caution, so she tests him. She orders servants to move their marriage bed. Odysseus immediately protests, explaining that the bed cannot be moved because he built it around the trunk of a living olive tree. Only the real Odysseus would know that secret. At last, Penelope runs into his arms and the long years of separation finally end. Soon afterward, the families of the dead suitors demand revenge, threatening to start a new war in Ithaca. But Athena intervenes, commanding peace across the island. Odysseus once again becomes king of Ithaca. After 20 years of monsters, storms, and wandering seas, the clever hero has finally reached the one place he longed for all along: home.